This summer I fell off self-improvement, and I remember that I predicted a few times that I was going to have the best summer of my life. I spoke about this yesterday in another video. I don't know if you have watched it or not, it doesn't really matter, but I spoke about a concept that I was going to have a really great summer because I would be able to balance friendships with self-improvement. And now after the summer, with kind of the results at hand, I realized that I wasn't able to actually balance these things. I had my friendships and I just focused on that. I didn't really focus on my self-improvement or anything like that. I was just with my friends and we were spending time together, which I don't really feel guilty of that or anything like that. I just feel like that's how I spent my summer, and that's a conscious decision that I made, and I could have focused on my self-improvement if I wanted to. And lately I have actually been able to balance it, but even make more progress than I did beforehand when I was like on self-improvement, but I didn't really have a social life. Because I think when you're trying to develop yourself, you should aim to improve yourself in all manners. Like you should improve yourself socially, like your mental health, your mindset, all of these things. You probably have already heard about it. So I basically fell off of self-improvement, and then I made a video that I was basically coming back and I was getting stronger and I was getting ready again. And to be honest, I went back, but I wasn't really doing anything particular. With this story that I've just told you, I just want you to know that if you are careful with your words, it's good. You're more likely to actually make more progress in your life, because when you're careful with your words, your actions can actually speak louder for itself rather than just your words. Because imagine this, what is like truth or what is real? If someone says to you, I am kind in that sense, and you look at their actions and they are like intrinsically not morally kind to other people, and they aren't acting in a great way towards other people, would you say that they're kind just because they said so? No, not really. You maybe would have said that they said they were kind because they believed it, but still they weren't kind in your definition and like the definition of like the dictionary or whatever. But this is very interesting, because if you can do this with your actions as well, if you say I am on self-improvement and I'm trying to improve myself daily, what you have to do instead is think for yourself, what actions am I taking today that will lead me towards my goals? And if that highlights what you just said about like self-improvement and all of these things, and that you are on self-improvement and that you're trying to improve yourself, if your actions speak for that, then fair enough, you're allowed to say it, because you've actually proved it with your actions. But this is what I did wrong. I spoke about it before I took any action, so now I won't really tell anyone that I'm getting back into self-improvement, or even on this YouTube channel, because who knows what will happen, right? Because tomorrow I may as well just lose all of the motivation and just fall off in that sense again. And that's why I think it's very useful to be careful with your words. But another thing that I've learned during this like period where I haven't really been that productive is that you can't avoid pain. Pain is inevitable. And what I mean by that is the universe works in opposites, right? You can't have light without dark. You see, it's dark outside and you see my face, it's lit up just because I have a lamp here that is actually there's actually lighting up my face. So you can't have something positive without something negative. What is pretty interesting here is that if you aim for pleasure, you will experience pain, and if you aim for pain, you will experience pleasure. So you have to kind of choose which one it is, and it's very hard for you to actually make this choice, because it isn't really easy to take the right decision. It's very hard to choose pain like deliberately. It's very easy to actually push it onto your future self, because who knows what you will experience in the future as well. So I think it's really useful for you to actually think of this process and think for yourself, what do I want to do with my life, and then try to aim at the thing that you actually want. If you want to improve your life, can you define what improve your own life even means? Like what does it practically define? Like for me, for example, when I've been thinking about this, I've been thinking to myself that I want purpose. I want to be able to have like some kind of result that I can show to people. It doesn't necessarily have to be like an amount of money, subscribers, like anything material in that sense. But if I can just prove that, okay, so when I was working in that sense. I was actually working towards the goal of becoming more articulate, and here are 5 videos that I produced during this time. And this is what I mean by this, is that try to define what you want to happen in your life, and then just think about it, obsess over it, and then continually reflect upon this, because it can't be a burden. Because once it becomes a burden, like it did for me this summer, I immediately quit, or not immediately, but it took some time and I fell off over a bit of a time. And this is what have been very, very tricky in my own journey, is that to balance this, because it's very, very easy to sit here and talk, but I have to actually prove this with my actions. As I said earlier, this links into the earlier point as well. You have to always think to yourself, is this a burden? And once it becomes a burden, you have to ask yourself, is this just because I'm in a phase where I'm demotivated in my life? Or is it because I just don't enjoy this anymore? And you have to reflect, and you have to put in some introspective work. And it's very, very difficult to do this, but keep in mind, if you just make the smallest amount of progress every single day, or just some days, you will inevitably improve. And that's what I've been thinking about for the last couple of days when I've wanted to improve things. I've just thought to myself, let's just do this. Let's just upload a YouTube video. Even if it gets like 5 views, I'm not blowing up, or I'm not really getting that many views or anything, but it doesn't really bother me, like to the point where I feel like I'm demotivated. It almost does the opposite, right? And that's pretty much like, if you do that, your life will inevitably improve. So be very, very reflecting about yourself and try to do that even more. And it's very, very hard, and this is also a message for myself, not in the present moment, but to do this already right now, for me to be able to handle future hardships. And I will try to be as transparent when a hardship occurs. And that was pretty much all I had to say for this video. And you know, if you got some value out of this video, you can subscribe or do anything you like to, or just leave a comment or just click off. And I really do hope that you got some value out of this video, and I'll see you in the next one.